Hi, welcome to Gospel for Real TV. I'm still your regular host, Alexander Ochega, and we are on the series, The Free Will Deception. In the last discussion, we saw it clearly from the scriptures and the Bible that a man whom God has revealed himself to and has been apprehended by God is a slave of righteousness and so does not have a free will. He's not a free moral agent. For it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that showeth mercy. And so in this particular episode, we're going to be discussing about the power to will. Where does the power to will come from? Now we know that before a man can say, I will, certain things has to happen. He has to think it up, and his emotions have to align with his thoughts to the point where he will say, I will. So, the will of a man is a product of the combination of his thoughts and his emotions. For example, a young man sees a pretty young lady who is so pretty, and his thoughts begin to dwell on the lady, and his emotions begin to think he is in love. And then when the emotions become so strong and his thoughts are dwelling on the lady, it brings him to a point to say, I will marry this lady, or I will ask this lady out. So for that young man to say, I will, his thoughts and his emotions brought him to that place to say, I will. And so the will of a man is a combination of his thought processes, his thoughts, and his emotions. They bring him to that place. Now, we all know that thoughts and emotions arise as a result of influences. Something must influence a man, and the powers that influences the thoughts of a man and his emotions come from within him and outside of him. There are always powers beyond a man that influences his thoughts and his emotions that bring him to a place to say, I will. This does not mean that a man does not have certain freedom to move, to think, and all. But the truth is, whatever freedom a man has is not beyond the boundaries that has been set by God for men. Why? Because it is in God that man moves, lives, and has his being. The Bible is expressly clear that for in him we live, we move, and we have our being. So our freedom cannot be exercised outside of God. That is why the Bible states it expressly, that the way of a man is not in himself, for it is not in man to direct his own steps. So the things that influence a man usually comes as a result of certain powers, either within or outside the man. And we all know that all power comes from God. The book of Psalms is expressly clear. It said, "O man, that you will know that power belongs to God." For God ultimately has the power. And so the power that influences the thoughts and the emotions of a man that brings him to the place to say, I will, is not in himself. And ultimately, all power comes from God. And that is why the Bible says, for it is God that worketh in you to will and to do, both of his good will and pleasure. There are powers that influence the thoughts and emotions of men. That is why Adam was deceived, thinking that if he eats from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, he was going to become a free moral agent. But when he did it, what happened to him? He became a slave of sin. That is why the Bible is expressly clear, very, very clear, that all power belongs to God. He said, "Oh man, that you will know that power belongs to God." Oh, and also, for it is not by your power or by your might, but by the Spirit of God. Nebuchadnezzar learned this a hard way when he thought that it was by his powers that he built Babylon. In the book of Daniel, God exposed him. He had an encounter with God, and God told him that for him to know that heaven rules over the affairs of men, and he was just like a pawn in God's chess game. God told him he was going to go out to the field to eat grass for 7 years. And guess what? Nebuchadnezzar went into the field and ate grass for 7 years. Now, can a free moral agent just go into the field and begin to eat grass? It's not possible. It is not of him that willeth, nor him that runneth, but of God that showeth mercy. There is only one free moral agent in existence, and that free moral agent is Jesus Christ. That is why when Pilate, in his arrogance, told Jesus, "Don't you know I have the power to free you, to kill you, or the power to, And Jesus told him, "Look, you have no power over me except that which is given to you from above." Only a free moral agent can make that statement. But look, if you still think you're a free moral agent and you have the power to do whatever you want to do, I'm going to give you just one example. The Bible says in the book of Ecclesiastes, it says that man does not have power to retain even his own spirit. And if man were to be a free moral agent, then he should be free to retain his own spirit within himself. But the Bible states it expressly that man cannot retain his spirit. In the day of trouble, he cannot even defend himself. But there was a man who can retain his spirit. Jesus said in the book, in the Gospels, he said a very remarkable statement. Jesus said that I lay down my life on my own accord. I have the power to lay it down. I have the power to take it up again. No man take it from me. Now, I dare you watching this video, I dare you to make that statement and to do it. If you think you are a free moral agent and you have a free will, use that will to lay down your life and to take it up again. I challenge you. If you're watching this video for the very first time, you're welcome. I advise you to press the subscribe button so that you'll be notified when a new video drops. And for those of you who have been watching this channel and who have been watching this series, I love you. I'm really glad you take your time to watch these videos. I love you.